how did you start your journey and how you reached to this level?
I worked in 3 different markets.
What inspired you to pursue a career in finance?
My plan was to do the mechanical engineering. So
I think you highlighted very important thing, which is your mentoring.
I think mentor is someone with whom you can trust.
What is the most important skill for someone who wants to become a CFO?
That gives you a starting point, I would say. And then I think during your journey, you should do some key important critical roles, right? So financial planning and business partnering, I would say, are the key one which you should try to get those roles. You should communicate your number in a right story, right? These critical decisions will improve your visibility in the company, right? During the time you get a chance to work on special projects,
Because
right?
people don't realize when their CFOs are on vacation that how CFO is balancing his technical skills and leadership skills.
Try to put more time on your leadership skills.
So one report can be seen from different eyes and different perspectives. So how is your experience of how do you contribute to the company overall strategy as a CFO?
So I think for me, I think CFO is a co-pilot with CEO, right? Risk management, what are the risk areas where we need to have a risk mitigation, right? Finance is the one who can actually connect with the commercial, come up into the how part, right?
Finance is the only department who has the helicopter view of the
journeys. Every department wants the resources as well, right?
What should be the mindset I should have to predict for future?
A roadmap, right? Which I think you should discuss with your manager. You can, for example, show this intention to your line manager. I think networking is very important, right?
But if you don't like him, you will not hire him. I have seen many CFOs, they find a lot of tough situation in their company.
You cannot take a decision in isolation. You should know where you are in the organization, whether it's a big multinational or whether it's a small, medium-sized organization, or take a decision, right? If the decision is right.
The bad news communication is different.
The more you transparent, the more balanced your communication, it actually helps to take easily absorbed by the people.
This is the biggest question. Wants to learn that how we can improve our communication skills.
Give presentation to your finance people because those are easy one, right? We should also try to go out, try to spend some time from out of our cubicle as well, right?
You have to be volunteer on this,
In every month, one of the finance guy, he just asked to come and present something, right? So this was the internal forum we created in our organization.
Thank you so much, Abdul Samad, for joining this our show. We do this show twice in a month. We brought industry leaders every time, and then we discuss their career journey and everything. So today we are very happy to have you here. Just give me a little background about Abdul Samad. Abdul Samad is a group CFO in a Martin Doe Limited, where he has been serving since April 21, I think. And prior to this, he had distinguished 13 years of tenure in GSK, which is GlaxoSmith Pakistan, holding key position including finance director, business partnering. He has done many success plan. So we will start some introduction from Samad. I think Samad, you can start from your journey. How did you start your journey and how you reached to this level?
Okay, thank you Nadeem for giving me this platform. Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum, good evening. So as Nadeem said, currently I'm working with Martin Dow. But just to tell you about my brief journey is that I was born and brought up in Karachi, Pakistan, and I did all my schooling here. And from professional point of view, I did CA from PwC in Karachi office. And then after passing my chartered accountancy, I joined GSK in 2002. And in GSK, almost I worked 18 years, Nadeem, 18 good years. So in that 18 years, I worked in 3 different markets. So I got a chance to work in Morocco, Saudi, and Pakistan throughout my career with GSK. And during my association with GSK, I basically started from a very junior position. I was a management trainee when I joined GSK, right after leaving my firm. So almost in 16 years, I worked in in all the financial areas, right? So it gave me an exposure of looking into all financial aspect, right? Which is, I think, necessary when you reach at the top. And then in GSK, I got a role of finance director in Pakistan. So I worked there as a finance director in 6 years, from 2012 to 2018. And then in 2021, I joined Martin Dow as a group CFO. So this is a journey so far, my career over the span of 21 years.
I think this is a super journey because you said you started as a management trainee, and today you are working as a group CFO or of the leading company in pharmaceutical, I can say. Because I remember I met with you last month in Pakistan. We discussed something about your journey. It was so inspiring, and then I decided to bring you in my show, and you have to share your knowledge with the people in this session. So we'll move forward, and let me know what inspired you to pursue a career in finance. You could be engineer, you could be doctor. Why finance only?
I think initially, my plan was to do the mechanical engineering. So I was really working hard till my matriculation in school. I got a very good grades, but then somehow in the 2 years in the college, when we were doing the pre-engineering, um, I got a little bit relaxed, right? So uh, don't know what happened. I think at that time, I mean, in Pakistan, there's a culture to get a good tuition, right? If you get a good marks in college, right? Somehow I think I missed that. So then I did not get a chance to because I was looking forward to have a good university, right? In engineering, right? That was a crucial, but somehow I did not get. But luckily, in those time, the Institute of Chartered Accountant came up with a very good crash program, which actually saved your 1.5 year, right? And to get that course, you need to have a very strong background of maths and accounting, which somehow I think we acquired during my engineering days. So that was my turning point, right? Because I think I got some good mentor at that time who was doing CAs, right? So then I got inspiration from them as well, and then I think luckily I got a break to enter into a few good I would say a community of people, right? Which I think gave me a little push to work hard in I think 4 years during my association with PwC. So yeah, that was a U-turn, I would say, to come to the finance
From
after my
engineering to finance, I think
yeah.
you highlighted very important thing, which is your mentoring. So how, what do you think, how mentor play a role in your career? How strong this role is? Because we find a lot of people in our life like teachers and our coaches, but what makes the difference when you deal with the mentors, and then first you deal with the teachers, then you deal with the mentors? What is the difference you find in these two personalities?
No, I think mentor is important, right? And I think um, as you said, teacher is also a good mentor, but generally I think teacher is the one who actually helps you to study a particular subject, right? But I think when you comes to the mentor is the one, I think, who can be a work related, even a non-work related. I mean, for example, if you have a relative, right, who is someone, can be your mentor, right? So I think mentor is someone uh, with whom you can trust, I think, with whom you can communicate well, right? And it could be a not, I mean, other than teacher as well. So I personally feel, I think mentor is critical, right? You should have a mentor because these are the people who are little senior to you, right? And I think who has some experience in life as well, right? Which can guide you, which can give you a positive environment, right? During your frustration time, you can because you need someone to release your frustration level as well, right? So I think a mentor is the one with whom I think you can share things in confidence, right? So
I think
I think one should have a mentor. I mean, it's
I
it's
think
critical. I think
the
during these
beauty of
things.
mentoring, the beauty of mentoring, which I realized that he has done the same journey which you are in, you know. So he has all the bad and good experiences. So that relationship becomes something different because he is not giving you the knowledge which you already have studied in your education system. He is giving you beyond the knowledge of education system. So that is critical area. I think mentoring is so important. So I'll move forward, Abdul Samad. I'll just discuss about the skills and
Yeah,
competency
yeah, you
required
are
to be
right.
a CFO. So one of the important thing I need to discuss with you and learn from you, what is the most important skill for someone who wants to become a CFO? Can you hear me? I think disconnected.
Nadeem, there's an echo, maybe some networking issue at my end. So as I understood, you said what should be the key skill, right, to become a CFO, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Abad, we can hear you.
So as I understood, you asked me about the key skills to become a CFO, right?
Exactly. Yes, but your network is fine.
About some of the key thing, right? Which hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Samad. You can speak. You can speak. I'm just asking about what are the most important skill for someone who wants to become a CFO.
So I think first of all, one should have a right education, right? So I think for finance people, you should have a bachelor degree, and then you should get a good certification, right? An ACCA, CIMA, or MBA, right? So I think that gives you a starting point, I would say. And then I think during your journey, you should do some key important critical roles, right? So for example, roles like financial planning, roles like business partnering, those are the important roles, I think, which you should do. I mean in finance, you get a chance to work in reporting, internal audit, compliance. Yes, those are all good, but I would say there are certain roles which gives you an edge, right? So financial planning and business partnering, I would say, are the key one which you should try to get those roles during your career with any company. So talk to your manager and try to find those roles. uh, the other thing I think is a good communication skills, right? It's very important finance people, because they know the number, right? They work with the number, but it's equally important that you should communicate your number in a right story, right? Because when you it's not that you just need to present number, but I think you should present a number with a good story, whether it's a bad story or a good story. So I think communication for me is very important. Third, I would say, I think you should involve on some of the key critical decision points, right? So for example, there are moments where a strategy needs to sign off by the CFO, but as a finance person, I mean CFO minus one, you also to be a part of those kind of decision making or strategic decisions, right? So I think you should try to be involved in those kind of critical decisions, right? Because these critical decisions will improve your visibility in the company, right? Because it's not only that a CFO or or a finance people watching you. There are people in the organization, for example, HR, commercial head, or supply chain head. These are the important people, I think, which and these are the people who can vouch on your behalf, right? So it's very important you should connect those people, right, when you are not the CFO. The other important thing, I think, finding a good project as well, because um, there are certain specific job description, right, which is fine. You do your job description, you meet your objective, but I think during the time you get a chance to work on special projects, right, and those are kind of a complex type projects, right, which I'm sure comes in every organization. So you should be ready yourself to do those kind of projects, because those are your testing moments, right? When you do your projects, you get a chance to connect with different people in the organization. You get a chance to be out of your comfort zone. You get a chance to do a mistake as well, right? So those kind of situations really help you to take a bigger role, right? To deal with a bigger situation. So I would encourage someone to do and try to find a project as well, right? The other
I
thing, I think, attitude is. Sorry, yeah,
yeah,
come.
yeah, yeah. I remember one thing because people don't realize when their CFOs are on vacation. This is an opportunity to play a role as a CFO. People don't take it seriously when their CFO is on vacation. There is a chance, I think, you should show your potential that you can be a next CFO in this company. So this is something I think important for us as well to understand that when your CFO is on vacation, you have to act like a CFO because you have to sell your skills as a CFO. This is, I think, what do you think? This is really an important part or not?
No, because you see, when I go on vacation, obviously I give a delegation to my financial controller, right, or my finance business partner, or my FD of one of the entity, right. So I only do because I know that that person can do the job, right. So I think whenever your CFO go on vacation, you should try to get those delegation. You should make sure that. You run your things efficiently and diligently. So yeah, so those kind of delegation movements are really helpful for you. Try to maximize those points.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. One of the important thing I just heard from the people that how CFO is balancing his technical skills and leadership skills. Because what is the contribution should have on this? Because I remember when I start my journey as an accountant, so my focus was on technical skills initially. But when I grow to the senior level, like finance manager position, financial controller, I started balancing this because I was not focusing on technical skills at that time. I was also focusing on my soft skills, which is my communication, presentation, leadership skills. So, what is the contribution you can say that as a CFO you should have this percentage of technical skills and this percentage of your leadership skills?
You right. I think you rightly touched the balancing between the two, right? So I think for personally for me, technical skills, yes, important, but I think as you move to a higher level, let's say you move to a CFO level, I think the composition of the technical skill is less relevant to you, because under you there's a team of people, right, who works, right. So obviously you should rely on technical skill or technical advice from them as well. But I think you, for that kind of area, I think you should have a you should know from the top as well, right. You should aware of what's going on, what's new coming, right, in those areas, right. So for example, tax laws, right. Now tax laws is a technical area, right. You should not know everything in tax laws, because those are, some laws are specific to the industries. There are granularities, lots of cases are involved, but as long as you know that what's new is coming, it's fine, right, because rest of the things other people will manage. I think for as you grow up, it's very important you should try to put more time on your leadership skill. And I think in some of your leadership skills there is a little bit of technicality will also come. So for example, I can give you an example. For example, if there is any important tax matter, right, now in that tax matter, as a leader, you should know what should be the right firm where I need to get an advice, what should be the right area where I can get the relevant advice, right? So I think when you have a leadership experience, you can then know in which of the particular financial area I go, or what are the approachable areas, right? So let me give you another example. You need to raise a financing, right? Now, in that financing raise, you should show your leadership skill, right? Obviously, you should interact with a lot of senior banker as well, right? You should know uh, who to approach and who not to approach, right? So I think those kind of influencing negotiation skills are much important in your leadership role rather than a technical skills.
Yeah, I agree with you because I'm working with my CFO. My CFO doesn't care about how you prepare the report, because every position in the company in finance has a different lens. Accountant see, for example, if you are seeing income statement, accountant has different lens to see how because he is seeing the P&L for reconciliation purpose. My sale is correct, my cost of sale is correct, my expenses are correctly reflecting. Then finance manager comes, he has different lens to see the same report, and CFO has the different lens to see the same report. So one report can be seen from different eyes and different perspective. So completely agree with you. So actually CFO is also involving in the strategy as well. So how is your experience of how do you contribute to the company overall strategy as a CFO?
Um, so I think for me, I think CFO is a co-pilot with CEO, right? I mean, as we read in the books and as we also practice during daily life, right? So I think in for example in our company we have a strategy group, right? So where we meet every quarter or on need basis every month, right? So in those kind of strategy meetings, finance has a role in terms of analyzing the situation. Finance has a role in terms of risk management. What are the risk areas where we need to have a risk mitigation, right? Because the in this challenging and volatile environment, your risk are keep on changing, right? So as a finance, you should have a right risk mitigation strategy, right? Which is one of the core part of our strategy. So finance has a say in the risk management. Um, all your future direction, all your future outlook, you convert the thinking into the numbers, right? How the number look like, right? So for example, if you are thinking to grow, let's say x5 percentage in 3 or 5 year time, then obviously you need to translate those into the numbers, and also you need to come up how you are going to achieve, right? So I think those are the areas, strategy areas, where the idea comes, and finance is the one who can actually connect with the commercial to come up into the numbers and come up into the how part, right? So I think I personally feel finance is a very important say in all your key strategic groups, whatever in the organization, and where I actually play a part in those forums.
So you have a strategy group, and the strategy group has inclusive of different type of people, different type of chiefs from every department, right? So finance has very critical role, because I think finance is the only department who has the helicopter view of the company.
Yeah.
Not other departments has that kind of luxury. I think that is the biggest edge to the CFOs.
So I mean, just to share with the recent example, when your company is growing, right? So obviously you need to grow, right? So in that growth journey, every department puts their contribution, right? So in those journeys, every department wants the resources as well, right? Now, obviously, as a finance, you should provide a resource. I mean, in terms of investment or in terms of any other resource, but obviously sometimes the resources are also limited, right? So then you need to wear a cap of finance head and then prioritize the resourcing, or maybe prior or put the resources which gives you high value. So I think those kind of trade-off finance can do um, with commercial or with any other function in the organization.
Abdul Samad, we have some audience as well, so I think I'm just taking in between some questions.
Yeah.
So I have many questions. I think we are lacking time. So Faizan is with us. Faizan, you have any questions? You can switch on your camera and ask the question. Faizan, can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for having me over here, and thanks to you guys for attending this. Actually, my question is, I'm working as a finance manager, so ultimately my objective is to reach a higher level and strategic planning, right? I just wanted to know that what should be the mindset I should have to predict for future, and how many years should I predict? Is it a 5 years, 10 years plan? And things in finance and in the real world are changing drastically every day, right? So changing environment, how can we change our assumptions, our scenarios, and all these things? So please, if you can guide on this, thank you.
So I think obviously I cannot give you a definite year, right? How much years? But I think um, one should have a a roadmap, right? Which I think you should discuss with your manager. So, for example, if you wanted to become a CFO, you need to discuss your plan, right, with your manager, and you should have a uh, put some development goal, right? Because there are areas where you need to make a personal development, right, or professional development to reach that level, right? So I think for me, a good discussion with your line manager is very important. That look, I am here now in next 3 years, for example, I want to achieve this. So to achieve this, I wanted to do this things, right? So I think those kind of building blocks are really important when you wanted to achieve one particular place, and translate those into how part, right? How you're going to achieve. So for example, um, if you have not get a so far if you have not get a chance to work in financial planning, right, or finance business partnering role, right, then you can show this intention to your line manager, right, to your CFO or to your financial controller. And I'm sure if some positions comes up in next 2 3 years in your organization, they should consider you. But before that, I think you should try to develop yourself. Now by developments is that, for example, you should have a business acumen, right? You should try to find a moment where you should connect yourself with the business. You should do a field visit. You should do a market gamba, which increase your business insight, right, inside that particular organization. So those are the development plan you should, which will give you a readiness, right, when that role comes, or when any interview positions open up, right, in the organization. So to sum up, I think it's very important. You should have a development plan, and you should well thought, written down a key steps, right, which you align with your manager. I think communication and talking to your manager is also very important, because when you talk to him, when you show your intent, he will give you a feedback as well, he or she, right? So I think do this thing. The other thing, I think you said that currently there is a very changing world, right? So now in that changing world, a finance person should also be ready, right, with all those changes. So for example, you should know what's going on in the news, right, in terms of finance news, right? There is a lot of volatility, right, in terms of interest rate, exchange rate, inflation, right? So you should be on top of your game, right, on the so how to tackle those. You should be aware, right, what's going on. The other thing, I think AI is a trend, right, is a buzzword, is a trend, right? So you should equip those also with latest AI trend as well, right? So I think for a finance people, I would say for changing thing, one should adapt the new things, acquire the skill, and then just ready for whenever the new roles come, either in the organization or any openings outside the organization.
I think one of the point, some you highlighted the readiness, because people are dreaming for CFO, but they are not ready for that, because it's not about your technical skills or your tax skills, reporting skills. You have to build your personality as well. So I normally talk to my mentees in my coaching session that don't think that you are born for your current company. The world is big, right? So you have to be ready for the future position as well. Don't see that you will become CFO for your current company. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not possible, but get yourself ready for this position maybe in the next role. So readiness is very, very important. I think we have Kaisar.
That,
Kaisar is our Kaisar. Can you open your camera and we can?
Yeah, can you hear me, Nadeem bhai?
Very clearly, sir. Very clearly.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for another wonderful session. And Mr. Abdul Samad, he has elaborately all these real-time expertise. So these are very handy. So my question to Abdul Samad is that it is generally I am asking that because as we are working into the middle seat, and I have noticed that most of the senior jobs, the one of the key requirement they are looking for is the fluency into the local language, that is the Arabic. We basically are the non-Arabic and Asians, and we don't have the fluency into this one. We can understand the basic one as well. So although we are aligning all the requirement of the client or the companies, what they are looking for, so one thing that we are not having the expertise, that is the fluency into the local language. So in your views, do you think that uh, is it a language barrier? If not, then what are the strategies that we can effectively employ to overcome this language barrier? So that's why I was just have your insight into this one. Thank you very much.
so, so I think personally, since currently I'm living in Pakistan, right? So I see the generally the language barrier comes, for example, in Middle East, right? Particularly in Saudi, right? I mean, so if you take the example of Dubai, I think over there is no language barrier as such. I think there's no extreme, right? If you go to maybe a UK or Europe or even US market, again there is not much language barrier. So I think personally speaking, I think for me the language barrier is there, but it's not extreme, right? It's not a very widely spread, right? Now if any particular organization, if they have a philosophy, they have a policy that they really want an Arabic guy, then obviously in that case you can't do, right, uh, anything, right? And even if you reaches to an age where obviously you cannot learn that fluency, then maybe that can be a hindrance. But one thing I'm thinking, that I think networking is very important, right? So for example, if you don't know the Arabic language, but I think you have a good networking, right? And you I'm just putting an example. You attend a lot of seminar, you attend a lot of conferences, you have a very good LinkedIn profile, people know you. So then obviously, if any, for example, Arabic role come, and if you have people who have an advocacy, who can give feedback on your behalf, that look, he does not know Arabic, but I think he has those kind of strength, then maybe that can play in your favor, right? So I think I would say maybe here the networking comes into play, and I think that can helps to relieve some of the barrier part.
I think networking is, I think, one of the important part, because I was sitting in a conference and one of the speaker came on the stage and he asked one question from the people. He asked one question, which the question was, will you hire the person you don't like? So answer is no. Despite he is so talented, he has qualified, he has fulfilling all the requirement of your job, but if you don't like him, you will not hire him. So this is the basic thing, I think, which I understand, that your networking is your net worth. So this is very true. So normally when you find a job, you are trying to find a job, you get good job from networking. Without a good networking, if people know you very well, you have a good personal brand, you have a very good reputation, you have a big chance. If your CV is even weak, you will be a good candidate for that role. I think this is one of the. So one question comes in mind, to Samad, that I have seen many CFOs. They find a lot of tough situation in their company, because when big decisions are coming, and there are a lot of influences from other departments to take a decision or not to take a decision. So share something that you have some tough time on making such kind of decision, that you stick to that decision and you have a lot of pressure to change the decision. Do you have this kind of scenario in your life?
Um, yes, there are certain situations, but now I mean, um, I think for taking decision, I would, since now at this stage I can characterize. Uh, it depends from organization to organization. So, for example, when you are working in a multinational, so in those kind of organization, you cannot take a decision in isolation. You need to align your regional office as well, right? So, in those kind of decisions, there are a lot of stakeholder involved, right? So in those kind of situation, you need to do tackle it differently versus the other organization, which is not a very big multinational, let's say, which is a limited entity based in just one or two three countries, right? Where you just need to involve two three people, right, to take a decision, right? So I think first of all, for now I realize, I think for any kind of important decision, you you should know where you are in the organization, whether it's a big multinational or whether it's a small medium sized organization where a few people you need to agree to take a decision. So in those two kind of organizations, you need to tackle differently, right? And yes, I also took some bold decision. And again, what I realized, I think you should take a decision, right? If the decision is right, because you cannot hold back those decisions, right? So obviously, in any decision, if there is any a bad news, obviously you need to find a way where you can make it mitigate, right? So for example, if there is any closure of any plant or any closure of product line, or any decision where you need to close in any of the non-compliant entity, for example, then obviously you need to take those decisions, but at the same time you need to come up with some kind of mitigation as well, right? Because I think those kind of mitigation will not completely solve your problem, but at least it gives some kind of support to sign off that decision quickly by other stakeholder, I would say. But
I
it
think
depends from situation to situation.
two skills are very important when you take a tough decision: your relationship with other people and how you communicate. You know, so this is so important, that bad news communication as an art, because you
Yeah.
cannot communicate like you are communicating at a good news. So bad news communication is different. If you are not announcing any bonus, there should be a way to communicate. If you are announcing bonus, there should be a different way to communicate. So I think communication and relationship matters a lot in these kind of decision making. So
No, and
correctly.
and and, and I think you rightly said. I think communication is very important, and I think in those kind of tough situation, I think transparency is very important. You should tell people why you are taking this decision, right? I think transparency is, and I see. I think the more you transparent, the more balance your communication. It actually helps to take easily absorbed by the people. I know you cannot. Not everybody will be happy. You cannot satisfy everyone, but at least you need to take those decisions, right, and move forward. So yeah, communication is important. Transparency is also very important.
So one thing is important. We need to learn from you. How did you improve your communication skills? This is the biggest question. Maybe every accountant and finance professional wants to learn that how we can improve our communication skills. Any tips from you?
I mean, uh, I think practice is important because I think, for example, practice, and I think do a less overthinking because the uh, the more we think that the more we put ourselves into more stress, right? So I think do more practice. So for example, if you want to practice lots of presentation, how to give presentation, then maybe try to uh, make a small presentation. Start with small steps. Um, give presentation to your colleague, give presentation to your finance people, because those are easy one, right? And then when you get a chance to speak to non-finance people, then I think it becomes easier. So I think I would say practice is important. Do a little bit planning as well, right? How you approach, right? So for example, if you want to give presentation, then obviously make a plan, right? Uh, what are the things you need to deliver? Make a plan. So and there are other communication which your routine communication as well, right? So for example, I mean, as a finance, I think we should also try to go out. By go out means that we should try to spend some time from out of our cubicle as well, right? Go to the second floor of marketing, go to meet HR people, right? So the more you meet in your casual way, it improves your communication, right? Because then when you go and meet, obviously it starts some communication, right? So find those casual moments, right? It improves your communication. um, uh, I also learn a lot from a good short podcast as well, right? These days, I think a lot of good materials are available, right, in the LinkedIn or any good communicator which you really likes, right? Just go and check their short podcast, right? They 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 will give you some ideas as well.
I think
But
you rightly said presentation. Presentation means doesn't mean you have to wait that someone will call you for presentation. You have to be volunteer on this. You can go to the manager, you can go to the other departments, you can prepare some reports. Maybe you can present to some sales report to salespeople. Ask an opportunity. If you have 20 minutes, I can come to you and I can present you something. If you like it, take it. If you don't like it, no issue. I will make all adjustment. So you have to create the opportunity. If opportunity is not there.
I remember one of my finance director who used to in every month, one of the finance guy, he just asked to come and present something, right? I mean, for example, what's the best article you read last week, right? Just come and talk about that article, right? If you are good in Excel, just come up and give some top 5 Excel tips, right? So every month he used to call one person from his finance function, and that person comes and give just a 10-minute talk, right? So this was the internal forum we created in our organization.
Yeah, very right.
For me, the point that he came out when he said that, I mean, the technical skills becomes less when you start being in C-level. And I have experienced that really you need to be in a strategic level making decisions, and the communication skills, it is the issue. And most of the time you face a lot of the challenges in the communication skill. If you ask me, I still am today, being in the position for 10 years, still I feel myself as a student when I enter into board meeting or making those kind of a decision in C-level. Yeah.
Let me share you my story, how I built my communication skills. When I was started my career in finance, so it's so difficult for you to get the opportunity to present yourself in front of your management. So I knew that nobody will give me opportunity because I was very junior at that time. So I started training in my company. I was good in Excel, I was good in few skills I have. So I gather my close friends, 4 to 5 people which are working with me. I brought them in a room and prepared some kind of presentation and started training to them. And that experience was giving me so much pleasure. So one training is finished, I took the feedback, I found many gaps, I corrected all these things in myself. Then I gather another training for 10 people. I brought more people. So my confidence was a little bit good. So I was presenting, and then again I presented everything. I trained them. I was asking the questions, how I'm speaking, how is my presentation, how is my presentation, how is my skills. So they gave me more feedback. So I then, third meeting, I brought 30 people in my room. So again I started training on Excel sheet and something. I choose some subject where I was good at. And then fourth time I went to my HR. I wanted to conduct a formal training. Don't pay me anything, it's free of cost, but I want to conduct this kind of training. They brought 50 people in that training. So if you have this kind of journey, believe me, you don't need to attend anything, because there are two things: technical skills and soft skills. Technical skills are the skills which I say normally that you need to learn from this world. When you born, you born without technical skills, because when you born, you can become doctor, you can become engineer, you can become accountant. So that is the world teach you. But when you born, there are some skills inside you, which is by default you born. Your speaking skills, your presentation skills, your behaving, your attitude is just inside you. It comes out when you start practicing it. You don't need to learn it from outside. It's inside you. You just need to reconfigure yourself. That's it. This is the concept I just wanted to share here. So people have a misunderstanding that soft skills needs to be learned from outside. No, soft skills are inside you. You just need to practice it. That's it. Yeah, technical skills, you need to go for certification. You have to spend some money to take some skills, because technical skills you learn to make some money, but soft skills you gain to get the respect, your value, your personal branding. You will not get your good personal branding if you have good technical skills and bad soft skills. You need to have the good soft skills. If you are working on your personal brand, you are building your reputation, technical skills will not work in this way.
I agree 100%. Very right.
Yeah, that is really absolutely right, Nadeem. I just want to add quickly into this one. First thing is that we need to learn ferociously, and second thing is that we need to show our passion and enthusiasm for learning as well. And third thing is that we need to try to capitalize the opportunity. If we are sitting in our chair and somebody will come and ask that you want to learn, no, we should not be the way like this one. We can see around us what is happening at our personal level or professional level. If there's any kind of project that is being started, or if the company is giving the opportunity to giving notification that these are the session we are organizing, so anybody voluntarily want to come and participate, so we should start from that level as well. Because if we go for technical skills, we will learn it and we will forget it after some time. If we will not continuously or regularly use all these, communicate with the people, communicate with the computer as well, and we learn from our network, from our surroundings. I think so these are the things that people, they need to adopt all these things. We can learn from our children as well. We can learn from anyone. It's all about, we need to show our the passion and enthusiasm for learning. This is just I want to add into your conversation, but you have correctly highlighted all these practically insights. Thank you.
Makbul, the question is just said networking is net worth. It means without reference, it is rather tough to enter a job. One of the important thing which I tell people, that don't make the network for when you find some opportunity. Nobody will respond to you. For example, if you are finding a job and you are connecting with the right people who has an influence to get the job, they will not connect with you, because they know exactly why you are connecting with them. The right connecting time is the before they announce the job. For example, if you're targeting some pharmaceutical companies in any country, start connecting with the right people before the job is announced. So make the relationship above strangers. When you are connecting with someone and you said thank you, and they are saying they accepted your invitation, just say them thank you so much for accepting my invite, and that's it. What will happen with this sentence? You will not be a stranger for them now. So before this connection, you are a stranger. If you are not a friend even, but you are not the stranger, you are in the middle one. So in the future, when you will find some opportunity in these companies, then you can ask them that this is the opportunity I found in your company, can you refer me for this role? Because you already connected with him This connection was not because of job. This connection was because of you want to build the network. That's it. So this timing is very important. People connect with the people and send the CV, and don't send the CV instantly. This will not work. When I've seen somebody send me connection, and the moment I accept the connection, they send me the CV, and this relationship with again disconnected. So don't make the connection just because of job. LinkedIn is versatile platform. You can have network, you can have learning. This is not a job searching platform only, but build the network. Believe me, by the time it will help you a lot. So any other question we have as a student? I'm curious, in order to become a CFO, should I study as much as possible before certain age, like 24? See, there is no age to become a CFO. There is no age. It's up to you how you fasten your journey towards CFO. Yes, certification is important. I can see people, they are investing in MBA and MCOM and these kind of things. Don't invest time and money in MBA if you are want to proceeding your finance in finance career. This is only acceptable certification is CMA, CA, ACCA, CIMA, CPA. This is the only acceptable certification in finance. If somebody is going for MBA in finance, this will not work. If you are doing PhD in finance, this will not work. The only certification will work, because I am giving you example. If there are 10 people sitting in the interview, and 10 out of 10, 9 people are MBA, one is CMA, they will hire CMA. So try to understand certification is the basic thing that you need to have. If somebody is trying to become a CFO without certification, this will not work for a long term. It can happen in short term. Yes, there is a chance somebody left and they become CFO for you. But in this case, it will not work for a long term. If you want to really make your career, go step by step. There is no shortcut on this. There is no shortcut. I think we are done. Any other comments so we can close it?
I could add something, Nadim, please.
Yeah, man. Sure.
Okay. From Makbul, I could add that you need not to search for a job or chasing, because once you start chasing, it shows like you're so desperate that people run away from you. What you need to do, which is just an addition, is just you need to build your brand. Once the people, they see you, you are really an expert into your field. Whatever the level you are, it may be you are in the operational level as just an accountant, or maybe the technical level, which is as a finance manager, or whatever the position, or in a strategical level, a director, a CFO, a CEO. Still, they are the people, when they search for a position, hiring manager, the first thing what they do, they search for the people who are so branding, they have the brand, and they go straight and they request for a meeting. I'm getting those kind of requests often, like at least in a quarter, I will get like 3. I mean, requesting, Iman, you need a job, please, you come and just do interview only. Even if you don't need a job. Why they do that is only because they see you. I mean, you are building your brand. You are an expert in your field. You show that you are an expert in your field. And this is I think it's a long-term strategy if you want to land up in a very good job. And the second question, I mean, of course, there is no age in being a CFO, because through my experience, all my bosses, they were younger than me. If you ask me, at least 5 years younger, or maybe 7 years younger. So it shows like a position, it doesn't have an age. If you are really, I mean, you are aware that I want to become a CFO, and now you are in 20s or 25, it is very good for you. It means that you have realized at the very early age of your life, then please start a journey and go for it. And you have your goal, okay, continue, and whichever the challenging you are facing, you just continue in the long term. It is not a short term. I mean, like when I reach a 24 or 30 or 35, I became a CFO when I was at the age of 32. And my boss, who was a CEO, he was the age of 30. And so it is not about an age, it's about an awareness. I wish I could
awareness and the mindset you have that will help you to drive yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Iman, for your comments. I think you rightly said. I think anyway, is there any comment or any chat? So because we exceeded the time, I think we can wrap up now. And I'm sorry for, I think network would happen with Abdul Samad. Maybe we can have another session with him in the coming days. So maybe so thank you so much for all joining this session, inshallah, and have a good day, and see you in the next webinar.